Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Empathic Decisions. Here it's Riccardo, and with me today I have the pleasure of introducing Rebekah. Thank you, Rebekah, for being here with us.
Thank you for having me, Ricardo. Yeah, as you say, I'm Rebecca. I am joining you today. I'm here in Berlin. I'm with a company called Upvest, so a startup in the investment API infrastructure industry, and I'm the Chief People Officer. So your question really resonated with me around empathic decision making, as it's something I've been pondering a lot recently.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I was intrigued by your profile not only because you have an amazing previous history in KPMG and in Meta in your background, but also because you are focused on DEI. So it's definitely resonating the topic of this podcast, right? Empathy as a strategy in
Yes.
growing people and organizations. And that's exactly what we are talking about today. So I'm very happy to start this tiny little interview with the first question, which is what does empathy mean to you personally and professionally?
Yeah, thank you for asking because it is something, as I said, we've been thinking about a lot here, especially in the D space, which I've been working in for a long time, and we're still working on here in at Upvest, despite all of the turbulent kind of worldwide oscillations recently. For me, empathy is just crucial. It's critical in decision making, personally and professionally. I think especially now we're just undergoing such turbulent times, such like kind of politically, economically. We're required to move so fast and so quickly, and I think especially with the advent of AI as well. So I feel like for organizations now, empathy is nearly being downgraded as something that's not essential, or that's like fluffy, or that's kind of the easy option, or maybe that slows us down as well. And it's really, for me, that's a real fallacy, and that's really not, the way that we think about things here. Personally, I think empathy just means really putting yourself into somebody else's shoes, really trying to walk a mile in their shoes, really feeling with them as opposed to feeling for them. I think sympathy is more about feeling for somebody, and then compassion can be around kindness and care. But empathy is really just that understanding and that willingness to have like a perception shift with somebody, and to really go there with somebody and to sit with them, maybe in their pain, if that's the situation at the time. So I think it's commonly misjudged. I think it's like gets conflated with a few different topics. I think people mistake empathy for niceness as well, and sometimes it's nothing to do with being nice. Sometimes you still have to be real, you still have to be honest, you still have to make really difficult decisions, but you can do this empathically just by taking the moment and framing and trying to really live in somebody else's position for even temporarily, even while you're making your decision. And professionally and in business, it can't be discounted. Like we cannot operate unempathetically, because we have to empathize with our customers. We have to empathize with our clients, with our end users. Like we can't know what product we're trying to fit, what product placement we need, or what problem we're trying to solve, unless we can actually be empathetic with other people's experiences as well. So for somebody to think that empathy isn't important in decision making is a very, very poor business decision, like I believe. And also then we know teams operate far better when there's that psychological safety as well, when people can speak up, when they can feel heard, when people just want to feel acknowledged as well. And I think that's really important in setting direction and strategy for your organization as well. It's like you can have the best strategy, the best laid plans, the most barren competitor landscape, or the best product. But if people don't feel heard, they don't feel listened to, they don't want to go with you in this same direction, then all is lost really as well. So it is really just about listening, like active listening as well, and kind of understanding where people are at any given moment. I think there's different types of empathy as well. So there's like kind of cognitive empathy, and then there's affective empathy as well, which is all about these like mirror neurons as well, and really making sure that we're moving together and sensing people in the sidelines and in our periphery, which is essential for business and for us all kind of moving together in the same direction as well.
I love, Rebecca, how much you are prepared on the empathy topic. It sounds a very, very
It's
precious topic for you, and I'm very happy to have you
oh nice.
with me today. And
It
maybe
is it is a
to
topic
go.
that I do love.
Yeah, yeah, I can totally perceive this. And so maybe in exploring your experiences around empathy, can you share a decision where empathy made all the difference?
Yeah, I mean, when I was kind of pondering this one, I can think of so many examples here where empathy has made a massive has made a massive difference. And I think it's important to think that, empathy doesn't always change the what, but it can change the how as well, right? So I think people think if you're making an empathetic decision, that maybe you'll end up veering towards solving for the individual as opposed to the collective, or maybe, you might end up taking people's personal preferences or situations into consideration too much. And I don't think that that needs to be the way. And I also think people sometimes think making an empathetic decision is easy or is emotional or is more feminine or whatever that may be. But actually, empathy is really difficult and really challenging and very courageous as well. Like, so when I was thinking about examples, it was around the tougher decisions, so around like layoffs and offboardings as well with people, owning a people department. And this happens a lot, and it can often be a natural part of the life cycle of a business. And you have to be empathetic to the person in the moment as well, but you also have to be real with them and honest with them. Like, people don't want you to sugarcoat things for them. That's also disrespectful as well. But if you can sit with them and they can feel your empathy, I think that's really, really, really crucial. I think there's not, I've read a lot about empathy as well. There's not like loads of studies on empathy in organizations yet, unfortunately. But I read a medical study recently, which was like about doctors who are operating in hospitals and who are having like aftercare patient with their patients. If that patient feels empathy from their doctor, they're like way, 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 way more likely to take their medication after and to kind of work together on a plan of improvement for with their doctor if they can feel that empathy. And that's been proven as well. So that's really what we need to bring into business as well, is like knowing that we need that engagement with people as well, and knowing that we can't just suppose or impose or direct. We do need to bring people along with us along the way, and also then listen to that continuous feedback and how that evolves. And it might not, as I said, sometimes difficult decisions need to be made. It doesn't mean being empathetic doesn't mean that, you don't end up having to be very directive as well, or to make the challenging things happen.
So let's try right now, Rebecca, to translate empathy within the company culture of Upvest you are into. What are the values that are already part of Upvest that are close to empathy?
Mm-hmm. So our values are learn and grow, own the outcome, team first, and tell the story. And I think empathy is pretty intrinsically linked with all of them, actually. So like learning and growing is really about learning about yourself, but then growing others as well. So, and then we have in place at the moment, we have like a collaborative learning strategy as well. So we want everybody to be learners. We want everybody to be teachers as well. And we want everybody to embrace learning, embrace the fact that everything is a learning opportunity and that learning is a mindset and empathy is a mindset as well, right? And what I love is knowing that empathy can also be trained and can be developed, but it can also decline as well, right? So, and that happens when you're not in the right environments as well, right? So empathy is created and built by having great experiences, like with people. So I think we do that quite well here. Like we are a people first company, and we do engage with people as well. We have like we have a lot of value around connection and around in-person time as well. Actually, we're hub based, flexible, but we also really value coming together and kind of celebrating as well. So that can kind of, I think, anyway, my personal opinion is improve empathy when we do have these moments together. Whilst obviously we take into consideration that people have different needs and lifestyles and family situations as well. One of our, of course, team first as well, like is massively shaped and created by empathy as well. So like we know that teams can't collaborate unless they can empathize. We know that I've been in many conflicting experiences over the years with teams that have have just diverging priorities and they just can't understand each other's points of view, and they maybe don't have the full picture and then just jump in and blame at a certain time when things get tough. So having empathy and knowing that it is team first, we're looking at the outcome and not the process. We're looking at, we also, as part of that team first value, we have making life easier for others. And that is a mantra that we always communicate and talk about. And it's really about being clear, being concise, not beating around the bush, not like showing people exactly what they need, having direct ownership. But making life easier for others means you have to understand what others need as well. And that's empathy. So yeah, and then owning the outcome is really aligned with empathy, because it's about owning whatever happens, whether we win or lose as well. So it's about being really vulnerable and, not having ego or not having, any kind of anything attached to the outcome, I suppose, but just owning it, just accepting it. And that's empathy really as well, isn't it? It's just sitting in the moment, in the situation, and accepting what is and being present with it as well. So yeah, so lots of different.
Sounds that you are already living and breathing empathy in a very nice way in Upvest. So it's
Yeah.
definitely amazing to get from your source this kind of style that you are building your culture inside this trajectory. So maybe it's very interesting now to shift from the organization to your personal empathy development. So what are the ways you are working on to grow your empathy as a leader?
Listening, stopping talking. I think it's so easy as a leader to just jump in and fix things for people as well without really understanding, their point of view or their perspective. There's been so many times where I just tried to solutionize straight away, thinking that I'm being empathetic, but that's actually being sympathetic because you're feeling for them, you're imposing your ideal on them as opposed to just feeling with them as well. So I think just pausing, listening, trying to be present, to do all kinds of meditation, mindfulness as well, which we are bringing in a little bit in the organization too, and just pausing and trying to detach any of your own personal attachments to a situation as well, because we're all so biased. And we analyze our biases here as well a lot. We question our biases. We talk about them within teams through trainings and through different toolkits as well. So to just shine a light on things sometimes, as in whether that be personally, like introspectively, or as a group, as part of our group dynamics, it can be really, really important as well. And then listening to podcasts, like your own, and reading as well. I'm an avid reader of various things around this topic too.
It's definitely a constant journey that hopefully never ends, because if never ends means that you are always able to increase even by a little bit the potential and skill of bringing empathy into personal and business context. In this regard, I would love to hear your overall vision, because again I'm super excited about how much you care about empathy, and it's definitely strong, the angle and the expertise and the sophistication you put on top of this core skill. But what is your society or the business will change if empathy could become a norm?
Yeah, so like more macro or more meta, I think it's essential and crucial for where we're going as a human race. Like AI is here and it's gonna be doing a lot of our thinking for us. So we need to do the feeling, and we can't do that without empathy, and we need to get better at it, because this is what we can bring to the table here and what we can finally hone as well, and we're all exploring what this means, moving forward. But we definitely need to feel it out and to sit with it and to understand how we can move forward together as well. So empathy is huge in terms of like conflict resolution and in terms of creating resilience as well, and moving through difficult times. So I think it is really, really important, on a macro societal level, to work on what you can do yourself internally, but also how you can just open up conversations as well within your peer group, within your organization, within your teams, and how you can do that as well, and how you can find safe spaces, psychologically safe spaces as well, for people to connect.
Yeah, especially in these tough times where we see globally the rise of military expenses and wars and conflicts and tough things. Many times when I'm in front of the news, I'm like, hey, I'm trying to make a strong vocation around empathy, and there is so much we could and should decision making with more human centricity.
And
Going
I
back
think
to,
it's so easy when, sorry,
please,
when
please.
there's so much happening externally, it's very easy to detach as well, because you need to be functional and you need to still be pragmatic and still, operate in the day to day. So sometimes that can, in challenging times like this, it can definitely lead to things shutting down and to us not being able to open up to being empathetic as well, because it's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, it's not easy, and also because I mean caring about others is easier when you are really good in caring about yourself, right?
Yeah.
And self-awareness is not the easiest skill available on the market.
No.
Of personal growth and the balance with growth for others and caring for others is such a complex and sophisticated chemistry to develop. But I do believe it's one of the most rewarding in a sense, because when you're able not only to take care about yourself but to care about others in a very balanced way, you are so complete, and you feel that you are valuable for others, which I do believe is one of the most precious and beautiful currencies available in this world. So going back to the actual efforts you are doing at Upvest, it seems that you are already very empathic as a culture, but I want to ask you from your point of view, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much more empathy does your company culture need and why?
A scale of 1 to 10, how much more? I mean, I don't know that we need more empathy. I think we just need to talk about it more and to recognize the things that we do in the day to day more. Like, when I was, thinking about how empathetic we are as an organization, I was just breaking down like some of our behaviors, our communication, some of the things that we've implemented, like as part of our DIB strategy, but also our structure, our flat hierarchies, our fast feedback. And I think we are very empathetic, but we don't always discuss what that means, or we don't always define it as well. So I think going back to what I was saying at the beginning, it's like sometimes it gets confused and then discarded by being like, oh, I can't be empathetic because I need to be direct and tough and constructive. But it's like, no, that's not what it means. So let's just go back and kind of ground ourselves in this first. It just means being in this experience, this human experience together. So I don't think we need to get more empathetic. I think we just need to have more space to discuss it and to understand why. And then to also give people the tools as well to be empathetic, because I think when you start being empathetic as a leader, you take in so many different people's perspectives, and then it can really distract decision making as well. So I think it's to really ensure people know that yes, you can be empathetic without it necessarily changing the direction of something that you've already decided. So I think it's just like we need a little bit more education around the concept. But I think that we're doing all of the right things instinctively.
That's so good. So it seems that you need more awareness, you need more
Yeah.
space and time to invest on talking about this and realizing how advanced you already are in developing a positive and proactive culture in a growing ecosystem. And I do believe, and I hope that some people that are interested in joining your organization are watching this video, because it's definitely a strong commitment to finding
Yeah.
the chief people officer of an organization describing how much empathy is a core strong skill used to define the strategy of
Yeah.
such a brilliant organization. So thank you very much, Rebecca, for staying with me and with this Empathic Decision podcast today. It was so nice to meet you and to discover a very marvelous empathic island in Upvest, directed by your efforts.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for having me, and thanks for provoking all of these thoughts and having a lovely conversation as well. And enjoy the rest of the sunshine in Barcelona. I'm very jealous.
Thank you very much. Berlin is one of my favorite cities as well. So I still remember those amazing parks you have in the middle of the city, and I was
Yes,
biking around. It was amazing. So I invite you for Barcelona, for Berlin a bit as well.
nice, great, great.
Thank you
Thanks
very
so
much.
much. Have a lovely
You have a
day.
lovely weekend.
See you now. Bye bye.